Time now. The time now is 12:51.
Mm-hmm.
The 18th of April, so it's 10:51 in the UK.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm here with Sian, Gissing, and I'm sitting here in Greece. And this is the first time I've spoken since.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I feel last time I actually did speak to you. I remember before because you was on the interview.
It's when we did the I was talking about the Theft Act. Do you remember? We're doing all of that.
When Anthony and George and Jason was on the video with us, one thing we was on the video and they answered it,
Yeah. So okay, this is what happened. On Sunday I did my live. Everything was fine. People don't know about my relationship with my mother, and I'm certainly not going to sit here and trash my mum, because my mum is deeply stuck in trauma and she hasn't worked through that trauma. So the thing is, when we're stuck in trauma and we have unresolved childhood issues, that trauma can come up when it's triggered, and it can come out as very aggressive, very angry. It's almost like the darkness of the soul, the darkness comes out. Okay. Now I work on my trauma, so I try and hold a sacred space to the best of my ability. My mother was named on the fraudulent court order with that was written by Judge Tracy Cronin in December, the 20th of December. It was court ordered that I went from 5 days a week to 3 days a week supervision with my mother and with the nanny. That was Gerard's suggestion. That was not my suggestion. I've never agreed to supervision because I've never done anything wrong. Okay. But because they see me as disobedient, because I won't obey, because I won't step down, because I won't be silent, they have weaponized my children, and they're withholding the children in order to force me under duress, to make me do what they need me to do, which is sign off on their fraud. Okay. My mother has done her best to keep a foot in the door with my ex-husband for the sake of the children. I can see that. However, these two people are abusive towards me. And I have to be on the receiving end of an awful lot of abuse and hold it in a sacred place, to let it transmute, to not let it get into a screaming match. So that means I'm on the receiving end of whatever comes out their mouth. Yeah. On the Sunday after my broadcast, I had spoken to my mum, and I'd found out that my mother had gone to collect my daughter, and I wasn't told. My mother did not communicate that with me. Gerard did not communicate that with me. The solicitors did not communicate that with me. So here we are again. My daughter is placed somewhere. I don't know my mum's address because my mother will not disclose that information. Okay. So I sat with that, and I just thought, I spoke to my daughter, FaceTimed her, and just remained strong and present for her. But after that call, I cried. I was very emotionally upset because I feel it's so controlling what's going on. And my voice, my children's voices are completely lost. And I know that anyone watching this that has lost their child or children knows what that feels like when someone else is hugging and physically with your babies, and that's all you want for yourself, and you're being denied that because you're being punished by the state for speaking the truth and seeing the truth. So I turned my phone off. A, because it was like getting late and I was going to bed, and B, I just need to switch off. It's emotional. Where I've been in Glastonbury, there's no Wi-Fi. It's very peaceful. It's in nature. It's completely switching off. It's off grid. And it's just so I can recalibrate, because I deal with a lot myself, not only in my personal life, but also helping people and doing the best I can to put myself in service for humanity. I'd been sleeping on my shop floor for nearly 2 weeks, so I was very tired. You know, I'm a woman that's divorced from a man of wealth, and I sleep on my shop floor. Where's the justice and where's the law? There is none. Even though there's a court order where he has to pay me £2,500 a month, that's completely ignored, and that does not get respected. I do not get paid. It's not even about the money. I'm just purely pointing out how these court orders are produced, and the police refuse. We know, because I've made the calls, the police refuse to go and hold that person accountable in breach of court orders. And yet, however, I'm targeted, and I have, again, bruises on my wrist. I don't know if you can see this here. They're just coming out. I have bruises on my body again, you know. And so anyway, I turn my phone off, and I'm just having like time out in my perspective. That's what I'm doing. And I don't think for 1 minute that anyone's gonna report me missing or do any of that. What I believe have happened after what I heard by the police yesterday is that I have been legally entrapped under the false disguise of that I'm missing. So I don't know what's gone on between Monday and Friday. Obviously, a lot's gone on social media. I have no access to Telegram. I haven't checked all my WhatsApp messages, and now I don't have phones, so I won't be able to do that anyway. So whatever's gone on social media is people's narrative. I can't control that. I just know in myself, I was having time out. Will comes to find me and tells me what's going on. And I'm very, very appreciative to Will. He's an amazing person, heart of gold, absolute soldier. I wish the police could be more like that, because that's what we all need. So thank you to him. And so Will takes a photograph with me. I said I didn't really want to do it, but I get why he needed that. So I did that. Saturday, I go off grid again because I'm overwhelmed by the reality of what's going on with me being missing. And I'm in Exmoor, and I go a few other places, but I'm back in nature, back grounding, because that's where my truth is right now, Andrew. I find the truth in nature because I've been through so much. It's very calming. I'm very spiritual, so I do a lot of praying in nature, and I find that very powerful. So I send a lot of forgiveness. I send a lot of healing to those that need it. Yeah. To try and soften what's going on. So I do the photo, you know, I say to my friend, I said, just put a picture on social media and just, there we go. And it's amazing that even that wasn't enough for people. They wanted more from me. And I'm trying to like not give more because I'm trying to hold myself centered. So then on the Saturday, I had 2 calls from the police on recognizable numbers. One was a landline, one was a mobile number. And they said they were wanting to do a welfare check, which I comprehend. I said, well, I can't do it today because I'm out and about, unless you're prepared to wait till after 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight. And then I'm more than happy to meet you somewhere in the public domain. You can see me quickly, and then you know everything's okay and you can close it off. I'm happy to do that. So they didn't want to do Saturday. They said that they didn't have enough staff. So I get an withheld number, an unknown number on Sunday morning. And it's the police, allegedly, and said, we want to do a welfare check. So I said, okay, well, for my own safety, I'm not going to give you the address of where I'm at. And what I found out is they'd gone to my friend's house, walked into her house, no warrant. This is a beautiful older lady on her own. These, you know, she described them as being like over 6 foot, very big very intimidating. They walked into her house, Andrew, uninvited, no warrant, like banging down the neighbours, like that were saying how noisy the police were, like really, really aggressive. That's not a welfare check for someone. What is that? That's not keepers of the peace. Anyway, back to Sunday. So I have this phone call with the police, and then they say they want to do welfare checks. I said, right, I'm happy to meet you outside the Crown pub in Glastonbury, because I know it's on the main street. There's lots of people around. They can do a quick check. I'd spoken to someone about how it works, because they'd gone through it themselves. They said what should happen is they physically see you. It's a minute or two conversation, you walk off, right? So I know what the correct procedure should be. So I said to my friend yesterday, I said, I don't feel right going on my own. I said, can you drive me there? And then you can just do a loop and just make sure everything's okay. You know, keep doing a drive-by. Yeah. Because I don't really want to put her in jeopardy. So I didn't want her to physically be with me, because everyone I love right now, Jason being targeted, Owen being targeted, my friend Andrea being targeted, everyone stood in the truth right now is being cherry picked off me. Roxy being targeted. It's no coincidence, Andrew. They're trying to isolate me. That's what's happening. Yeah. So I personally, you know, just want to put on record that anyone in contact with me, I don't want to cause any injury, harm or loss to anybody, but being in association with me, you are going to be under the spotlight at top level of the state. And there's nothing I can do about that. And they have my phones. So please, for your own safety, I'm sure everything will be okay, but for your own safety, you might just want to change your passwords and just, you know, if people want to block me, I'm not offended. Your safety comes first. Okay. So yeah, the Sunday, so I was to meet the police at 1:45 outside the Crown. They ring me back after 5 minutes of making that arrangement and say, we just got to the Crown. It's really busy. Can we go somewhere quieter? We want to meet you down Benedict Street, which is a really quiet street, effectively like a tiny little, you know, not alleyway as such, but it's really, really not safe to meet me down there. So I said, no. I said, I'm not doing that. And that was a red flag. So anyway, so I go to the Crown. Oh, sorry, it was agreed that we're going to meet in the car park, just like about 200 yards down the street. And this is outside a police station. There's a police station in the corner there. Anyone that know in Glastonbury, like Burns Bakery, there's a police station. So I get dropped off and they are in a police car. So I walk to the police car. I have my handbag on me. And they get out the car. And I say, hi, I'm just here to do a welfare check. And they put me under arrest there and then. They said Theresa Villars, MP, and I'm saying this name not to cause, I want to make this claim, I do not wish or intend to cause any harm to Theresa Villars, no loss or injury. I don't mean to cause her any upset whatsoever. What I am trying to do is get her to stand in her authority in the correct way and uphold the law for us, the people, and not abuse her position on malfeasance and using harassment, bullying, and abuse of her power to cause me injury, loss, and harm, which she is repeatedly doing. She's infiltrated my life. Why have I got an MI5, MI6 agent infiltrating my private life and giving maximum security on my ex-husband who's breaking the law left, right, and centre, which he doesn't normally do? I've never known Gerard to do that. It's like the more moves they make, the worse this gets, the more people are involved. It's completely out of character. So what is it? Why are they going to such lengths? So anyway, and thank you for just listening and letting me get this out, but I'm going to make this video and then I'm going silent because I need to. So then they arrest me there and then. The police officer pulls out an A4 piece of paper, like a script, Andrew. It was a script. which means he didn't know the law, which means he's been ordered to say that. And it just read that he was putting me under arrest, and it said the Harassment Act as if someone had cut and pasted it, because it was a bigger font than the top script. But it just was the Harassment Act. It didn't have a section. And normally when you're arresting somebody, or normally within the law, you'd have to quote a specific section. And he just went, because I challenged him. I said, well, what section? He said, all of it. I said, right, have you got any evidence? What have I done? He couldn't say. People started to gather because I'm smart, and I knew that it was a public place. I needed to draw attention to hopefully get people to film or to see what was going on. The police were absolutely, the female officer in particular, which is, again, this is how they're playing on my trauma. They must have access to my private life and how I've been as a child, or what would trigger me, because they keep putting aggressive females in front of me, which would trigger my trauma wound with my mum. So it's very interesting how they psychologically play. So this woman, she had red hair, like orange ginger hair. She started, my hair was in a bun. She was ripping my hair like this. I've got clumps of hair. I will show you if you want to see, but I've kept the hair. She was trying, the more people were coming round and asking what was going on, the more she was getting scared. She was trying her hardest to silence me and get me in that car. And she was using it. She said, you can have it. I said, I just need to phone my friend because she's just dropped me off. I came here under a welfare check. You've just legally entrapped me, got me here under false pretenses. I said, she needs to see that you've taken me away. So I said, just want to wait. I said, I'm peaceful. I'm peaceful. That's all I kept saying, is I'm peaceful. And people were like, God bless the general public, because they were just saying she's not doing anything, she's peaceful. They were just ripping my hair. And saying, get in the car. And I was just trying to stand in my right as a human being and just saying, I'm not, you're gonna have to tell me what I've done. And they just kept saying, Theresa Villars, MP, has ordered it. And I was trying to reason with them, and I said, why didn't you just tell me on the phone that you wanted to arrest me? Like, look at my hair falling out.
How many police was that?
2. And like, look, just keeps falling out. So anyway, I managed to hold on long enough, and God bless those people in Glastonbury. And they were fighting for me. They were saying, you're doing this outside a station, you should be keepers of the police. What are you doing? You can't attack her like that. And I'm just so glad that people saw it. They saw what was happening. And I said, I will cooperate. I will cooperate with you. Please just let me alert someone that you just taken me off the street. Anyway, the nice gentleman said, your best bet is to just get in the car. And a man, like one of my friends that I knew, came over. So I said, please alert my friend. So I knew that I was safe then, that they knew what was going on. So I got in the car, and it was the same trick again, like what they did in October. Put me in the car, didn't want to talk to me. I was trying to be nice, of like, if you had a nice Easter, like trying to be human, trying to reach out. Like, have you got children? She's like, I don't want to talk to you. It's like, well, you want to abuse my body. You've just committed GBH. You've just committed legal entrapment, and now you don't want to talk to me because you're starting to feel bad about what you've done. You've just been publicly shamed, and you don't want to resonate with me.
Do we have the names of those officers?
This is that one.
Was it a man and a woman then that came?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the man doing while this woman was doing this to you?
Nothing. Nothing. So it says arresting officer was Dominic Oatley. Investigate, so it's 1727. They haven't put the woman's badge number down because it was started with a 2. It's not on here. And they've got on the custody record, they've got my address down as Facebook. Are we for real? Even though my land registry, I'm on the land registry at Elming House, my driving license, I'm at Elming House. Listen, I was unlawfully taken out of Elming House by deception because my ex-husband refused to answer the door, even though he'd reported me missing. So why wouldn't a father open the door to his children? Instead, he felt it necessary to get a tipstaff order to come and rip the children out of a hotel room. So that's another setup. And we've all heard that tape. But anyway, so I'm in the car. I know how to, obviously I'm emotional today because it's over and done with and I'm just processing it. But in the moment, I've learned to really anchor myself and ground myself so this doesn't happen. And to anyone watching this, what the system plays on is your emotion. And I'm going to prove this in a minute. Because they want to do the mental health card. So it's all designed to get this reaction. Or even worse, you know. So just be very mindful of that. It's really important to heal trauma in yourself. So if this is happening to you, you can anchor in. So I get to the station, I'm very light and very airy. And because it's all a stage, it's all acting. So I just say, I'm very playful with it. I said, listen, boys, we're going to do this properly today. I said, you've got my bag. I said, I want everything accounted for. And they hate that. I said, let's do due process, shall we? Let's do it. So I said, take everything out my bag, get all the coins. There's some euros, there's some English. I want every single bit counted because I know what you cheeky buggers are like. You'll go and swipe the money for yourselves through your money. So I said, we're not doing that today. They were like, no, we'll just put it in a bag. I said, listen, code of ethics, 7 Northern principles of office. Let's do this properly, shall we? And then the female officer was getting really mad at me because I was controlling the situation and being very light. And she was like, get away from him, like a bully, yeah? And I turned around and I said, are you okay? She's like, no, I'm not. I know you hate me. I said, darling, I don't hate you. I love you. You're all one. I said, you look like you really want to cry. Are you traumatized? Are you really upset with what you've just had to do off the back of an order? I said, it's okay. I forgive you. You have my forgiveness. I said, it's okay. Maybe you just need to look in yourself as to why you feel you need to do that. So I just was like resonating with her. She hated it, let's be honest. She's not in a spiritual mindset. So anyway, I made them count every single last penny. I had tampons in my bag and he was looking at it like, what's this? I said, it's a tampon, darling. I said, log it. I want that tampon back.
I need the full accountants of everything that's in my bag.
Hey, due process. So we're doing that. And then I said, obviously they do the booking in, the questions. And I said, listen, they had all the wrong information. They said I was born in Manchester. I said, I'm going to help you out. I said, I usually do no comment, but on this occasion, let's get this right. If we're doing this, let's get it right. Let's correct it. I said, my address is Elming House, yeah, which is public information. So I did all of that. And then I said, I do want it on record because I want you to sign things. I didn't sign anything because I said, I'm lawfully obligated to sign. And they said, no. I said, well, I'm not going to sign. I know I'm not. I just like them to say it back to me, educate as I go along. So I said, I do want it on record, though, that these 2 officers rang me and said they were doing a welfare check. And the booking in sergeant did not want to put that down. I said, put it on record. He said, no. I said, why not? I said, they just lured me here under false pretense. Legal entrapment is a crime. You're a police officer. That's a crime. You should actually be arresting these people. But I know you won't. But I said, at least put it down on my custody record. They said, no. He said, you can tell it in the interview. I said, right, so we're breaching the rules now, are we? Your code of ethics. I'm asking you to like stand in truth and transparency, and we're not doing it. We're playing this game today, are we? I said, okay. So then I go to my cell. Obviously, they booked me in. Then the mental health team turn up. Oh. There we go. So let's go on this. And I appreciate you being so patient and listening to me. But so it is your right when you're in custody to have the custody record. And I urge absolutely every single person to demand a printed copy before you leave, because it's very insightful. So this is the custody record from the 29th of October last year. Let's have a look. So they've got me registered at place of birth. Look how wrong this is. Place of birth is Manchester, and I live at Facebook. Excellent. Quite offended they've got my bill down as medium, but that's okay. Right, so they're saying that I breached the non-molestation order. Is this the non-molestation order off the back of Miles Watkins on a court hearing that doesn't exist with the Ministry of Justice court record?
So I mean, this is the one thing I'm saying, because it's what focus on. They've made a claim. There's an order now. Yeah. A sealed order.
Common assault. Is this common assault with no evidence whatsoever? Okay. And it says at the bottom of the common assault that no charges. These are all no charges. They're just allegations, yeah. Keeping me under constant investigation. Breach of injunction. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to flip to so it says here that I had, because I reported the marks from the handcuffs last time, so injury. So why is the IOPC not dealing with my complaint when it's clearly there in black and white that I've reported I have injury on my body? Why is it being suppressed when it's on the custody record? It's very interesting. They answer the questions, but they don't answer the questions on this. Medical concerns. Do you have a member of family who is aware of your health problems? It's left blank. Is there anything I can do to help? It's left blank. Even though I generally would have said no comment, yeah, or no. I've said, this is legal. If you've got anything to say, this is legal entrapment. Care plan. This is by, so okay.
That's in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Legal entrapment. This is legal entrapment. This is in October.
Why have they written that in all capital letters?
You tell me.
They love acronyms, don't they?
Care plan, and this was by C Convoy number 272. Care plan. Do you intend to set out a care plan? He's put yes. Health and well-being, mental health this is what he put. Mental health concerns. I hope he's got a medical background and he's got a doctor's license to be making these claims, because otherwise this is discrimination 101. Mental health concerns, mental health triage, suspect she may have psychotic illness and be in the need of mental health assessments. Red marks from the handcuffs on the wrists. Level of risk raised. Risk to self, not known, but DP would not answer the RA fully. That is what that, who in their right mind puts that down? That's a police officer. Yeah, I'm going to give this to you so you can do it in a video if you need to. Right, so let's go on. Right. C Conroy. Let's have a look. If the detainee apparently suffering from any physical or mental condition, he's put yes. Why has he put yes when I'm saying no? Oh, is he put in there to push a narrative? Comments. DP, quite manic. Manic? At booking in. This is interesting. It'd be very interesting, and I asked for this yesterday because I'm learning as I'm going. I said, I know this is all on CTV footage, so how do I get a copy of that, please? And I know it's been recorded. So I know that PC Conroy 272 is lying, and I've got him on malfeasance and breach of my human rights, because the video footage would show that I was very calm and I was just stood there as a peaceful person going, no comment. So where's this manic coming from? DP quite manic at booking in, repeatedly stating that this is legal entrapment. She does not consent. This is all fraud, would not answer the RA fully, said no to everything, but I'm not sure this is the true picture. How is that protecting my rights? So I'm saying it's fraud, which it is, which I can prove with physical evidence time and time and time again. And he's got that translated to manic. I'm not consenting, and he believes that to be manic. Anyway, so we go on, right? So this is the next thing. Conroy goes in again on the detention log. This is at 29th of the 10th, 2021 at 20:59. After circumstances of arrest were outlined, detainee, me, said, I do not consent. This is legal entrapment. The judge is a Freemason. This is all to protect the judges and Freemasons. I revoke all consents. This is legal entrapment. Legal entrapment is a crime. I revoke all consents. I've reported this to Bristol Police as fraud and corruption by District Judge Miles Watkins, High Court Judge Stephanie, he's put Pope, but it's actually Cope, and High Court Judge Wildblood and Professor Gerard McNeil. DP has repeated this many times. So there it is on record, boys and girls, that I keep trying to report my truth to the police. And instead of them actioning this and taking all the evidence I'm providing, which is a criminal offence for them not to do so, they translate this into mental health. Let's carry on. So they're keeping me on mental health grounds, but have not communicated this with me in any way, shape or form. Right, so then DP, so it goes on to say that there's a very, very good.
Just to go back to those.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, when you were saying all that, was you actually shouting that? Was you shouting that?
No, very calm.
Why in that case? Because I'm just trying to work out why it's written in all capital letters. Are they trying to say that you were shouting when you wasn't shouting? Is that what they mean by them all capital letters?
Well, I am more than happy for them to produce the CTV footage and the recording on the booking desk, which will prove how calm I was. I was talking in this tone.
I can imagine. I know exactly.
Listen, when you know you're in a show, it's like, just watch it unfold. A Catlow on the 30th of October, I'm still unlawfully detained off the back of a fraudulent court order. 30th of October 2021, 9:22 in the morning. A Catlow, badge number 4814. I've spoken with the tipstaff. Please go and research what a tipstaff is. There's only one in the country, boys and girls, straight out of Dominic Raab's office. I've spoken, this is public interest. I've spoken with the tipstaff, Richard Cheesley, telephone number. I've also read the order. My understanding is the warrant breach of court order is executed, and the order states she should be presented on the next working day court, which would be Monday in any case. Cheesley confirms deal with the criminal case first, following a mental health assessment. Who is this man to order a mental health assessment on me?
And where's his qualifications?
Where's his qualifications? But so this is the man who works with Judge Voss and is basically, issuing warrants on behalf of the Crown. There's only one. And one tipstaff. He works with Dominic Raab, as I've said, in the Royal Courts of Justice. So where's his medical background? Where's his psychological degree to be making these claims? And why have I got a man in a position of power attacking my mental health when he's never met me?
He's made that claim, so to be truthful,
It's literally there.
he needs mental assessing first, doesn't he? Sure.
There.
He also
Following a mental health assessment.
Did I put that in brackets? So that's not
Yeah.
on there.
Pardon?
They have to put brackets because anything inside brackets is not on the page.
So he says, Cheesy confirms, so this means that they know what we know then. Cheesy confirms, deal with the criminal case first following a mental health assessment and call prior to disposal. Disposal, like I'm nothing. Easy property, okay. I have emailed ASCC for an update re mental health assessment as handed over as no one currently on site. So look how it's all set up from the top. Go after mental health. And is this after Dominic, is this after I wrote to Liam Fox MP, alerting my concerns as a member of his constituency about what was going on? He then wrote to Dominic Rabb on my behalf, and Dominic Rabb wrote back and said, I can't get involved. And then 2 days later promoted Miles Watkins, the very judge that I was alerting to the fraud, which is on letterheaded Home Office paper, saying I can't get involved. You clearly are involved. Okay, are you ready for this? The mental health assessment? We'll try not to laugh. And this just shows my transparency. I've got nothing to hide. So I will read this exactly how it's written. I've got nothing to hide, no judgment. 30th of the 10th, 2021, 13:35, S. Huggett, number 72661. ACC seen in cell with my ACC colleague Morgan Bagwell. Concerns for mental health triage team in AWP NHS Trust over the phone during the night regarding possible psychosis, mental health difficulties, no insight reported. Reported on police risk assessment that DP was presented as manic. I was presented as manic. Being dead still stood in my power. Probably is manic to them.
Well, yeah, because it's manic. It is manic.
We've got someone we can't manipulate.
Yeah, they need a reaction. God damn it, we can't get her to bite.
I've beaten her and everything. She's not reacting. We got a manic one. She's not responding to the normal thing. Team America. Oh gosh. ASCC to therefore assess mental health, including possible psychotic symptoms, etc., risk and any other vulnerabilities. Maybe they're thinking psychotic is that I refuse to obey to their lies and deception and corruption. Is like I don't do what they do, which is we know it's corrupt, but we don't talk about it. It's the elephant in the room, Sian. It's the stuff under the rug. We don't look at that. And I'm like, I can really see it though. I know, just don't look. Maybe that's what manic means.
Just for the people, like DP, I take it would mean detained person.
Yes, yeah. Presentation. DP appeared a little affronted when we were speaking with her, initially stating she does not consent for this to happen. Explained again what our role was and that our contact with her was necessary. For Richard Cheesley.
for our legal and mental fraud entrapment. It's all entrapment.
We really need it because if we can write her off on mental health, then everything she says is a write-off. Yay! Stressed that confidentiality would not be broken unless any risk needs to be shared. So let's be honest then, you've got full intention of breaking confidentiality. Quite defensive in her responses, particularly around the situation with her husband, was polite throughout. So they're saying I don't want to talk about my husband. So what does that mean? It means I'm protecting my husband. I'm not grassing him up, even though he's just done the most horrendous thing for me. We've all heard the video about what happened in the hotel room with my children. So that situation happened, and then they're doing a mental health assessment. So I'm very impressed that they think I'm polite because that was traumatic and I've had to keep it together. Again, the power of trauma therapy. spoke clearly and was articulate, mainly using legal type dialogue in her responses to questions. DP reports that she's been studying law for several years, Open University. DP gave what could be interpreted as a plausible explanation around her beliefs about her husband, backing up her responses from a legal perspective. They were consistent when revisited on a number of occasions. She stated she did not believe her husband was a paedophile and that this had been misrepresented. Responses given were in context with questions asked. Some grandiosity event in conversation, particularly when talking about herself. Whoops. No evidence of any paranoia, not responding to any external stimuli, appeared grounded and orientated, deemed to have full capacity, although not formally tested. Gave plausible explanations regarding when she was seen in January 2020 by AWP NHS Trust as to how she was feeling then. They've put in brackets depression, that she was finding her life a burden. DP's words. That, just to clarify that, that's when I was helping Gerard go through aggressive litigation with his first wife on the grounds of fraud. He was accusing her of fraud. She would just laugh. Let's have a look. While it needs to be considered that some of her beliefs may or may not be grounded in reality, she came across as articulate and consistent. ASCC spent some time with DP in order to ascertain if this presentation were to change into a more psychotic type presentation or for any inconsistencies during conversation. This did not happen. Consideration also needs to be given to the fact that DP closed down and would not talk in any detail about the situation regarding her husband, except to say that this is all logged and documented with the police. Just to clarify that, what they were asking me, this was a 2-minute engagement, and they were asking me, quote unquote, what do you know about Theresa Villars and paedophilia? So look how that's translated. They actually don't, they've left that out. On balance, at this time, there are no outward signs of mental illness, although this may need further investigation, and also authenticity of what DP was saying is unable to be confirmed at this time. ASCC believe that on balance, a mental health assessment is not indicated at this time. So they're saying there's no need for mental health. So why then did I have all those phone calls during that week, not, I think it was last month, pushing mental health again? Why? Current mood, DP states.
Organise those phone calls, because that was
exactly. Well, I know. I'm going to tell you who authorised those. Current mood, DP stated this was fine and that had no mental health difficulties. Did not objectively not appear to be in a low mood. Presented as reactive, calm in manner. Good eye contact given. No lethargic observed. Risk, reported that she had no thoughts, plans, or intent for self-harm or suicide. When asked, she said that she had never had suicidal thoughts. Others reports that she has no thoughts of intent to harm others. Safeguarding, DP was in the hotel with her children when this should have not been the case, hence was arrested. It would appear that her children are with DP's husband. Court order stipulates that the children should be with her husband. Police safeguarding team will be aware of this. Protective factors, her children, although they were not with her at the present time, obviously because I'm in a cell, DP has enlisted help with relevant agencies for supporting, including Women's Aid. That's a lie. I didn't do that. DP stated that she has money and can afford accommodation for herself when she leaves custody. Another lie. Communication above and plan below shared with custody Sergeant Ash Catlow. Plan. DP has not given consent for any information to be shared with the police or other agencies, which again, why was there such a big push? Who's that come from? How's that been shared? Breach of my GDPR. Nil report will be completed outlining current minimal risk and previous risks to self. This will be uploaded onto Niche, NICHE, document section, and also shared with GP. So that was that report. So they have this information, they should be releasing me. And it basically, there's pages and pages here that they keep keeping me to see if I have some sort of mental breakdown. Yeah, and that was October. Yesterday's, again, it's like, I'll just go through. I will give you this to upload for people to see. Here we go. So having my hair ripped out, putting me in trauma again, trying to play on that trigger. So B Matthews, badge number 72984, medical. 1704, 2022, 1501. ASCC, myself and colleague Alex Fox attended Sian's cell to offer contact. Sian declined, stating she doesn't have anything to do with the NHS, mainly because I've lost my trust, Andrew. It's like what they've done have broken my trust. They've breached my confidentiality. I've got no trust in them. Sian sat up when we entered and listened to our instruction intently. Sian, it's like a school report, isn't it? Sian listened again as I explained project which she declined. So I think they were trying to give me this community project for me to participate in. I said, I'm okay. I said, I'll take the information because it might be helpful to other people, but I personally don't need it. Thank you. Sian was very well kept in appearance, with lipstick applied diligently. Yay. Clear evidence of good self-care. So people, men and women, apply the lipstick diligently, and that shows you do good self-care, according to a mental health team. Healthy in appearance with no evidence of self-neglect or other physical cause for concern. Sian interacted appropriately with no evidence of any communication needs, politely denying that she had any concerns for her welfare. No acute mental illness symptoms evident. Sian was not responding to unseen stimuli. There have recent concerns. I mean, they can't even type properly. I'm reading this. It's like got spelling mistakes in it and also. They have no recent concerns from GP regarding potential paranoid or delusional beliefs. However, Sian has declined any intervention from GP's onward referral from MHS. Just to clarify this, I trust my GP. I have a long-standing relationship with her. If I had any concerns, I'd go to her immediately. What has happened is I've declined the services of these actors that will not confirm who they are or where they're working from and just pop up and pop out at any given point. It's about trust. I'm not going to deal with people I don't trust. These concerns appear to date back nearly 2 years. However, Sian does not appear to be acting in a way that could cause herself harm or injury, and the arrest officer amounts to non-violent harassment likely to be released under investigation. Therefore, Sian doesn't merit further assessment under the Mental Health Act today. Sian does not have any formal mental health diagnosis and has never had significant contact with any mental health services. ASCC feel in light of GP concerns for mental state. Who is this GP? Because it's not mine. Is this the bogus one that I proved doesn't even come out of my own GP surgery, which I recorded? And considering the nature of the offence and its likely progression to court plan, ASCC will complete a nil report to share with GP. Nil report will recommend the court organise a full psychiatric report before and if sentenced. Please advised to use AA for interview. This will likely not be welcomed by Sian. She left a leaflet to drop in. So AA was this volunteer lady. Honestly, they're all like unbelievable. So off the back of this, they forced a lady on me yesterday during an interview. She was a youth offenders and what's the other word? Juvenile volunteer. Like her badge photo looked nothing like her. This lady was close to 100. God bless her. And the photo.
Freezing. Whether it's my end or your end. It throws out there.
It's all right. Yeah. So yeah, there was this volunteer turned up from the young offenders and juvenile something. She couldn't confirm who a governing body was, and she couldn't confirm exactly where she worked, and she didn't provide me with any paperwork whatsoever. She just had a notepad and a pen, and she said that she was here to make sure that the police do their work properly. Now, I'm going to get a copy of the interview tape, and the general public can decide for themselves if they think that what that police officer did to me in the interview was correct. Because I'm telling you, it was not. I asked to see the evidence.
When was that? When was that interview?
Yesterday.
That was from yesterday.
Yeah. I asked, and then the other officer that interviewed me in October, I've gone to email him to say, can I have an update? And he's left. He doesn't exist anywhere. And there's an email bounce back saying, report it to professional standards. So, so how does this work? I'm under consistent investigation. I'm logging my complaints. It goes nowhere. Sarah Crew, the head of Avon and Somerset, has my information, has my complaint. Battered away. And yeah, if these people actually did their job, they'd actually stop me from being like harmed and hurt.
The police officer that interviewed you before,
yeah, gone. Yeah, disappeared.
That, by the way, which is exactly the same as what happened to John Patterson. July when they took him in, the guy who interviewed the 3-hour interview with him, he disappeared, doesn't exist, never existed. So the police officer that interviewed you this time, have you checked to see whether he now exists or whether he doesn't exist?
It was a woman yesterday, and it was all fine going in. I was commenting on her floral top and everything. We got in there, and it seemed to me like this volunteer was put there because this woman interviewing me knew that she was going to break the rules 100%, and she needed a third eye to write a report to say nothing was done wrong and invert it on me that I've done something wrong. That's what that was. And I know this has happened in another, I don't want to say this person's name, but I know that it happened in their case. They did it to them. They lied. But basically the interview technique was really aggressive, like really full on bad cop, and very theatrical. I said, so they obviously went through that I've done harassment. They believe that I've done harassment to Theresa Villars. So my first question was, can you define what section of the Harassment Act I've broken? They could not do that. They were saying, you've sent multiple emails. I said, how many? They said, we don't know. I said, well, don't you think as a prosecuting officer or trying to charge me, you need to have the evidence in front of you? I said, can you print it out? They said, no. I said, can you read the emails so it's on record for the public to hear? No. Right, okay then. That's all. I kept answering a question with a question. I normally do no comment, but I thought, no, I'm going to use this opportunity to get this down. And I said, I feel very under duress. I feel like you're bullying me. I said, you're being very aggressive when there's no need to be so aggressive. And then she was trying to put words in my mouth. So I was pulling her up on that. I said, you can't do that. And then the volunteer was trying to give legal advice. I said, you can't do that either. You're supposed to be an observer. So there was 3 of them in the room, just literally 2 of them were ganging up on me. I mean, I can handle myself. So it's not, I'm just trying to share it so people know what goes on. So if they're on the receiving end, they're to look out for it. Because what they're trying to do is break you emotionally. Because imagine if I broke down in tears in that moment, like any normal human being would do if they hadn't had trauma training. They'd then break down in tears. They would cancel, they'd put the interview on hold, put you back in your cell, and then bring out the mental health team again. Yeah, this is the play. This is the play. It's a chessboard. These are the moves.
So when will, I mean, obviously, have you put a data subject access request in for the...
I'm going to, yeah. So I said I want a copy of the interview tape. And I got it on there. I said, if any judge or juror hears this tape, you know what all I've tried to do in this moment and for the last 6 months in my case is encourage truth and transparency to ensure malfeasance doesn't happen by those we trust in public office, and that the 7 Northern principles are being upheld. and that trust between the general public and the police and judiciary is restored. She hated that. She hated it, the interviewing officer. Let's see if we should put a name down, shall we? No. Not even on record, look. So medical risk assessment, medical risk assessment, property rights.
I take it was just released on ongoing investigations, yes.
Yeah, detention log, rights entitlement, property. Firstly, custody officer, took my fingerprints, medical. So where's the where is it that I've been interviewed? Medical, custody officer, detain welfare review. No, it's not on it. Oh, interview. J. Cowling, badge number 1284. So it says interview.
Is that that's the WPC, yeah?
Yeah. Interview time 1913 to 1950. Detainee has been interviewed. The following persons were present during the interview: DC 2156 Draper and PC 2293 Savage. I certify that the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984 and the codes of practice were complied with whilst the detained person was in custody. Shit. I had the code of practice. By the way, here's another little tip. You're entitled to have the code of practice book with you and read it. And I did. I requested it and I was reading it in the cell. Yeah, that's a lie. A. Elaine Cully, there we go. That's a volunteer, was also present during the interview, and she was completely allowing that abuse to happen. She was a witness to the abuse and she was a co-conspirator in that fraud. The DP has denied the offences against her and has answered no comment. That's a lie. I answered part no comment, and then I absolutely went back on Theresa Villars of what's happened, how I know her, and how I filed my complaints with Parliament, which I'll bring on to in a minute. The DP stated that she wishes to make complaints against the AA and officers, and also said it was illegal entrapment. Inquiries are still required a phone examination and statements for the victim. I really wish they'd go through my phone because I'm the keeper of all evidence. It would be very simple to nail this case very easily and prove malfeasance.
They'll be going through it to delete it.
Yeah.
Going through it to find it. They'll be going through it to find it and delete it.
Well, I think even in Somerset, I've got like a phone problem because they keep going around stealing everyone's. So they've obviously
been doing it since I've been doing what I've been doing. I've had to buy people computers, new computers, just to keep them out there, putting the truth out there.
The DP is to be released, RUI, as the evidential threshold test is not met. This has been authorised by DS 4437 Broad. Is this not a conspiracy to like force a mental health thing? A couple of points. So it was stated to me yesterday who reported me as missing. I don't want to say the name right now because I've just got to do a couple of further investigations myself just to kind of clean that up. But that's very telling because I think the missing person thing, I know it looks like to people it's very real, but I think there's a narrative that's been pushed there very hard so they can use the welfare check to arrest me because...
Oh no, for the missing person, I mean, because with you disappearing like the way you did, nobody.
I didn't disappear, I just turned my phone off just to make that.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's be fair about it because you'd arranged with Kelly that you would text her morning and night.
Yeah, and I didn't, and that's you know, that I take responsibility for that. But just
like I say, I mean, I'm witness to what's going on out there. Everyone's very confused, and they're all saying all sorts, because it's not what you know, it's what you don't know that confuses people. So there's many people out there that reported you missing.
Well, the name that they gave me yesterday is very, very in the center of what's going on.
Yeah.
Very. They were there at the beginning and they popped back up after not speaking to me, and then they made a claim that we'd been in contact when that is not the truth. That's very interesting. And then and they have a member of family that works for the GCHQ and is surrounded by Freemasonry.
And there was a crime number on you. I mean, I know that one of them put it out there.
And then I also had it confirmed that this was all coming out of Parliament. We've been the officer that did the interview had said that they'd been instructed by Parliament. That's on record. That's on tape.
Sure.
So why is that being the case when I've received letters from the Bishop of Bath? We all know there's only 3 people that read that email. Then I received a letter from the Vatican. We all know there's only 3 people that read that email. One of them is a member of Parliament. We also know that the emails I have sent to that person at the Member of Parliament, I'm literally asking for help, and bring, a mass amount of fraud that's been had by her walking buddies.
Sure.
So why is this Member of Parliament once again interfering in a court case which she was suspended for last year in July? I don't cause any ill will, harm or loss, but when you're a Member of Parliament, you are in the public domain. The story of her being suspended is in the public domain. It's there for everyone to read. And I have evidence built up, stacked up, that proves the same thing. And yet they're untouchable. And I'm on the receiving end of false allegations. I'm being harassed. And I've asked it to stop. I've asked them multiple times. I've put them on notice. They're ignoring it.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, with going on your path with you, with what I've been doing, I've never witnessed that anyone who have ever tried to incite any violence, or you've understood the truth, and that's for it to be revealed, and that's for the help.
And I want my children. It's like, there's 3 children in this that are completely silenced, completely ignored, because we've got adults in positions of power and authority doing their best to do a cover up, and with each move they make to cover it up, they're actually exposing themselves more and dragging more people into it. That's what's happening. So we can't see the children anymore. The children, where's the narrative of the children? Where's the mother? Where's that narrative? Where's it gone? It's gone. It's missed.
That's their right. That's their right. They have
parliamentary supremacy, I think they've got above the law. So anyway, that's my little story.
So
again, this is the released under investigation official paperwork, not signed. No fixed abode, even though I was telling them what my home address was. I said, why won't you put it down? They did not want to put it on my house. Unbelievable. Again, not signed.
This questions your wives. I mean, obviously, they know why not put that address down there, don't they?
Yeah. Because they don't want it going to his door, do they?
Correct. Yeah. Well, obviously, they know what, this is the thing, how do you know they know what they're doing? They know because they show by doing things.
They're showing me what they're doing. Yeah. And this is the thing, it's like they produce the evidence to me. Every move that they make, it's all there. I've just been shown who the mental health assessment's coming from. Richard Cheesley, this tip staff. What authority does he have to make that claim?
Are they going to investigate this now? Like that is credentials on their ability to do or suggest any mental health or psychosis. Where's his training? Where's his medical background? Where's his certification to be able to give that that point?
And I feel as a woman, you know, there are amazing men in this world. You're one of them. I have amazing, divine, masculine men surrounding me that are very respectful and sacred and see me very clearly for what I am and who I am. And I'm very blessed to be shown that. But the other side is wounded toxic masculinity that is deep rooted in draconian patriarchal narrative, which is offensive, attacks my beliefs. My beliefs are protected under Article 9 of the European Convention of Human Rights and Schedule 1 of the Human Rights Act 1998. You can't go after my beliefs. You can't do that.
The point is we're all born equal, yeah?
Yeah. And it's like, where is it? Where is it written? Where they haven't come to my trauma specialist and asked for a report. Why is that? Oh, because they don't want to have that big lump of truth. I worked with a trauma specialist for 2 years during my marriage. Why have they not gone to that person? Oh yeah, that's right, because they'd have the truth of what I was being subjected to in my marriage.
They're not going to go to anywhere where they're going to get something they don't want, because all they want is something to capture and trap you.
And also, I provided my GP report back in August. I submitted that to Bristol Family Court. I submitted that to Royds Withy King solicitors. I submitted that to the judge in this case. So where's that letter? The GP letter was from my GP, who I've got a relationship with for over nearly 3.5 years, 4 years. She's gone through 2 pregnancies with me. She wrote a report and it says exactly along these lines. It says, I'm very concerned that Sian's husband has phoned in today making false allegations about her mental health and reported her missing. I've spoken with Sian, and this is, she says it's like unreasonable or unacceptable behaviour on his part. That's what the GP report says. She's got no concerns of my ability as a mother. She's got no concerns around my mental health, and she signed it in wet ink and stamped it.
There you go. Let's just for clarity, yeah, because you're saying, just to pick you up, because you said there's a court case, and there isn't a court case because it's never been substantiated as a court case, because there's never been a layered information. There's not a case management file, and there's no order, no sealed orders.
No, and I've proven by doing a subject access request into the Ministry of Justice that the originating hearing with Miles Watkins dated the 12th, the court order is the 12th of August 2021. There is no record on court file or under a data subject access request that court hearing ever existed.
And this is the main point. I mean, same with Kelly, because Kelly was arrested yesterday. She's been released. Yeah.
Yeah.
The point is here, like we say with them all, like the point is, show me the order. You say there's an order, let me see the order. And then let me see this case management file, yeah, that must contain the layered information that generated this order. That's the one point, because with Kelly they were saying that you know, again, the same as yourself, with slanderous remarks in the paper on the Facebook. Now
well, they've slandered her in the national media on false information. Hello.
Absolutely.
And why don't these people bring a defamation claim? Why don't they go through the correct application of the law? Bring a defamation claim and hash it out in court.
Well, the point here is anybody trying to get the facts of pointing out that the court's authority has been, you know, it's been counterfeited. Those points, and all the police will ever say is that's civil, nothing we can do about it. But like yourself now, they brought you into a criminal charge. That's a charge. They've come and arrested you on a criminal charge of slander, right? Yeah. So therefore, the stuff that you put in the paper, the same with Kelly, same with Jason. They said that he's put his daughter's name in the paper. Same with Kelly, saying that what she's put in the paper is lies and slanderous to these people, and they've made a claim. They've made a claim of this. Then let me see the order. Yeah, let me see that sealed order. Let me see the case management flow. Yeah, that generated, yeah, what they're saying to be true. Otherwise, what's being said in those papers on the Facebook, yeah, is actually the truth, not slander. And why are you not going to arrest them? Because the fact is they have produced material evidence. They are the ones that made the claim that was a court case. So if you're making a claim it's a court case, provide the material. It's like me saying, you know, here's a cup of coffee, but actually it's only water. Well, I don't have to, I don't have to show you the fact I put coffee and sugar in here or milk. No, it's just a cup of water. But they can say this is a court case, yet it's got no case management file. There's never been a layer of information. There's never been a filing fee paid. And there's no order that's been sealed and autographed by an author or whoever made this order.
Exactly.
And that's the point. This is the whole.
Well, and this goes back, this is why it's pinned on Miles Watkins, because on the 12th of August, he produced an order by pressing print, knowing full well that misrepresentation. I was upstairs in the house doing a live stream while Gerard was downstairs on a Zoom meeting with Miles in a 12-minute hearing, saying that I was missing.
Wow. You know, absolutely, you know.
All because he wanted to leave the marriage for whatever reason. It's irrelevant. I still don't know to this day. And obviously he just had a 2-year litigation battle after a 4-year litigation battle to do with money in his first divorce. And he just doesn't want to give me half of anything in a divorce. He's protecting his pension of £600,000.
Throws out again. They didn't want to hear this, did they? Just wait for it to come back on. So I'll just pause this for now for a second to wait to see if she comes back on. So the time now is 2 minutes. 2 minutes past 2, so 2 minutes past 12. Oh, she's back. I don't need to. Welcome back.
No, they're cutting.
Yeah. They just that you was just saying about the.
I was just saying the truth.
Yeah. What he didn't want. I mean, at the end of the day, I can clearly see, and I can clearly see from you all the way through like this. You're not.
My hair's still falling out. This is mad. Look at this.
This is, you know, it is it. I mean, like I say, it's always been for me. It's always been the people. You know.
Mm.
I mean, well, I know with what's happened, Sean, like, yeah, because I was witnessing this on it firsthand, and I too, you know, with you disappearing the way it was, it caused a lot of stress, right? Yeah, it caused a lot of stress.
Well, I apologize, because that was not my intention. It was not a stunt. It was not anything. I was, you know, I was very upset. Yeah. And I just needed a moment, and in that moment, I obviously go to bed, and I've slept in, and I've just, you know, it's until I've woken up and I've realized I just don't want to face it. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to go and put myself in a situation, like I said to Will, you know, a simple text would have sufficed. I have comprehension of that, and that's what I should have done, but I'm human, and you know, I make mistakes, and I personally thank everybody, and I apologize for putting anyone through any worry or stress. That wasn't my intention, but I'm doing my best as a mother. I'm doing my best as a woman, and some days it's just too much, and that's the reality. And I just don't want to explain myself some days, you know.
No, the point is,
that is the truth.
You haven't explained yourself. You was in that state where you just wanted to switch off and just go and get your own space.
It's almost like, oh, fuck this.
When you're in that state, you're not thinking clarity of what's happening behind you. Mm. We was all saying, because at the end of the day, as you know, yeah, we're not going to take anybody's word, because the people who come to me, I can't. I can only speak the truth. I can only speak the facts, and I'm only going to speak the facts. I mean, if I can tell you that someone said this, but I can't tell you it's true because I've never seen you. You know, people out there said they're not going to accept this unless they see you speaking. They're not going to accept it. What other people say, put people putting photographs with no dates, and can't say how old that. So they was being right. You know, I'm not.
And we know what the system. You know, we know people. What happens to them, and some people do go into the Mental Health Act is dangerous. That section 136 is really dangerous. 100%. And You know, I've known of people that share their story. Sean Speaks is, you know, whether people resonate with him or not. But his story alone, when he was exposing what he was exposing, I don't want to say it in this, but you can go and look at his work, do your own, you know, research, use your own discernment. It's not for me to say, but he shares his story over about 7 hours. I think it's three or four videos, and they got him. They were hounding him, and they pulled him in, and he was in a mental institute for months, I think.
Yeah, well, I've witnessed firsthand. I've witnessed firsthand the mental health frauds on many people. Two clearly, yeah, which was one was Carol Woods, because there was a fraudulent claim. There was again using the courts again. Yeah, the court's authority to a claim to create a 135 to go and arrest her, which was a fraud, complete fraud. The court admitted that they never knew anything about it. They hadn't done anything about it. So that was one. And the other one was John Patterson. I mean, there's another clear one, what they've done. They couldn't get him on the outside. They tried to get him when Sussex police came out of their jurisdiction to London and arrested him outside the Royal Courts of Justice when he was putting an appeal in against the Attorney General, Geoffrey Cox, yeah. And they took him and tried to put him into a mental health ward and do him. They had him in there for 9 days before they released him. They tried it again on the 5th of November. They couldn't get him in on the outside.
And they force you to take medication against your will as well. Like I've heard, you know, they get you to take it. It's you either take it willingly or they'll put it in you regardless.
Sadly, they did with Carol.
Which would then, especially to someone, you know, like I like to keep my body as, you know, as pure as I can. I'm not perfect. I do have little moments where I slip, of course I do, but so if I was to have medication like that, it really would alter my mind. And again, you know, anybody's really, that's what it's designed for.
Absolutely. I mean, the mere fact that you didn't comply and you didn't consent is the fact, and you didn't get pulled because you know the legal sides of things. You understood the court system. You understood it was all fake. You understood it was all an illusion. Yeah, it was just a trick and trap.
Yeah. And you can't, like, my advice for people is please work on yourself. And we all have trauma, every single one of us, because we've all been lied to. So our parents have been lied to and our grandparents. So we have generational trauma. And when we go within and look at that and heal it, you can't be manipulated anymore through your emotion. And when you stand in your own power and authority and refuse to hand it over and refuse to consent and refuse to bow down, north, east, south and west, when you refuse to buy into the title and refuse to buy into these people have power, I've got to like obey. When you see through all of that illusion, it puts you in a very good standing that when situations happen like yesterday or like in October, as cruel as they are and as violent as they are on the soul, because it is violence, you can just breathe into it and just go with it and just say, you know, a little thing that I do is it's just to show I'm participating in the bit. I'm just a character in this show. And this is just my little short appearance, you know, and to the point now where they're pulling out, someone's at the door, to the point now where they're pulling out pieces of paper and reading off script is madness.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know, because I mean, I can
at the fucking door again. I just can't.
Are they banging loud?
No.
I'll go away.
Well, this isn't being live streamed anyway. It's just pre-recorded, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just pre-recorded.
Don't publish this until it'll be in the next 48 hours, but just let me get into a safe space before you upload this, Andrew.
I will, mate. Well, you just let me a message. You just send me a message when I
do want to share this because it's very important. And then I've obviously got this paperwork. Do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, if you send it. In fact, actually, whilst we wait, I can make a video of this. And
yeah, I'd like you to do that, please. Yeah,
I'll put those in there so the
video. Do you want me to physically send it in the post?
No, just send it by email.
Okay, yeah, I'll try and
send it. Your email was was full or something. I sent you a.
I know they've got my emails on my iCloud, and I don't know how to upgrade it. So I've looked at multiple ways. Oh, this is the little leaflet they gave me. I've got a copy. Nelson Trust charity number. Someone look into this. Charity number 1056672. Who supports that then? You see how they lure you in. Let me go and have help. This is really important. I can't stress this enough. It looks like there's plenty of help. It looks like that. It's everywhere. But all it does is lead you into a system that is going to traumatize you over and over again, get you in and out of court. Like you have to sit there and listen to all these false truths about yourself by the other party. Yes. And then you're going to have to end up being subjected to psychological testing. I know this because I speak to women, I speak to mothers, I speak to fathers. They're telling me that they're like 6 years in. And their beautiful story. It was suggested today, actually, that I take this time to finish my book, but also do a book of everyone's story, like a Botanica of encyclopedia, A to Z, of there's that person's story, there's that person's story, there's that person's story.
Well, we'll say that man or woman, stop saying person because it's...
Sorry, yeah, man or woman.
Actually, did you know, just so that you know this, yeah, did you know where, obviously, you know that the actus max became person, the person. So if you look at the etymology of the word, the actus max is the person, persona. Persona is the actus max, which becomes a person. Did you know that that's where human being comes from?
No.
We're not human beings, we're mankind.
Mankind, yeah. And this is the thing with language. Like yesterday, I was saying, they kept saying, do you understand? I said, what are you actually asking me? Do I stand under your authority? Because the answer to that is no. Are you asking me, have I heard what you've said? And I comprehend it. She's like, I don't know what comprehend means. I said, you don't know what comprehend means? The compos mentis, that I've heard it.
This is what I'm saying. We've got the blind, these people are just compartmentalized. They do not even understand what they're saying themselves. And this is the whole.
And that's the thing, we can't even, again, everything is going in is we can't even. I was in the cell yesterday doing Hopono prayer, which is an Hawaiian prayer that you've heard of it, but it basically is, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, because we're all one. So whatever's been projected in front of you is just a mirror to some sort of unresolved trauma within yourself. So I literally just went through one by one of everyone in my case, like Theresa, Mark, Gerard, and I just did the Hopono prayer on them, because at this point all I can have is forgiveness, because they have cognitive dissonance on reality at this point. And what I mean by that is, in their training as lawyers, they should know what the truth looks like. They should know that a court stamp should not be moving all over the paper and on a court application. They should know that if the Ministry of Justice are saying that the court hearing doesn't exist, then there's something off. Their legal training and intelligence should be able to alert them to that. And they're refusing to see it.
Yeah. Hi, Anthony. I'm just doing a recording with Sean. Just doing a recording with Sean. Okay. I'll contact you. Yeah.
Keep it on the court order.
It is on the court order. That's what I'm trying to say. It's all about the court order. Okay, buddy. All right. God bless. See you in a bit.
Anthony, also on here as well, on the official Somerset Police released under investigation, there's no custody number. Blank.
Because I mean, just to say, I mean, because again, with yourselves, I mean, I don't know if you
the custody number is on here. So look at the due diligence. There's no due diligence. And this is what I'm saying is, all I'm asking for as a woman is, if you're going to do something, can you do it properly by the book? You've got, listen, they've got processes and statutes and coming out their ears.
The thing is, we live in a world of assumption and presumptions. That's the whole point. There's no.
And I don't live at facebook.com.
Assumption and presumption is the world that we live in, right? Yeah. So the point is here, I mean, because this is probably the main thing, because of what you're now exposing, because this is what I've been exposing and explaining to everybody. Go and get the case management file, because everything's going to be in the case management file. If you say to a court, yeah, listen, you're lying to me. If you don't tell me, if you can't show me that there's a case management file, you're lying to me, saying it's a court. Now, the difference between a liar, right? And what is a liar? A liar is a liar because he knows the truth. But if you regurgitate what you've been told, and that what you've been told is a lie, does that mean you're not a liar? Well, the only difference is now is intent and volition. Did you mean to lie? Now, the thing is, people who told me they've been taken to a court, I'm saying you're lying, but I know that your volition and your intent isn't to lie to me, because you've been lied to and you accepted that lie because you didn't challenge it. Everyone who's made a statement, everyone who's making a claim, they now carry the burden of proof according to the maxims and law, yeah, that they now have to provide the evidence, because the burden is on them now to provide that material evidence to substantiate the material fact. So that was the whole point. And the same goes with yourself. What you did, you looked in, you checked and found out that there wasn't a court. It's all been made up and it's all an illusion. There's no facts here until the facts are established. So the only fact that has been established is that there was a crime. The court's authority was counterfeited by the people you explained who have counterfeited that court's authority. And from there onwards, they've tried to do everything to get you to talk about everything else instead of sticking on the one point. Which
and I stick on the point and they don't like it, you see.
Absolutely, because they can't.
And every time they're producing something, I'm able, I'm going to be another 2 minutes. Every time they go through something, I'm able to point out that it's incorrect and not by the due process. Exactly. And obviously I get punished and penalised for that.
Of course. I mean, somebody told me.
Which is against your human right, obviously, isn't it?
Somebody I love and respect, and is a real trooper, and he's a very spiritual guy. And he says to me, he says, Andy, you will never take down a system. This has been going for 3,000 years. Yeah. It's been going for 3,000 years. You'll never do it. Well, I love a challenge. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it won't take long for people, because more people like yourself, like Kelly, like Jason, like all the other people that have pointed out the fact that there is no such thing as a court, because it's not a court. You're just got the order. It's all a court order scam, which is what Anthony was pointing out. And the reason why I clicked with Anthony and what he was saying. I'm going to have to go.
I am listening, but I'm going to have to go in like a minute, because I've got to make a move.
Yeah, just to finish with, the reason why it's so important, because this is one point that affects everybody.
Exactly.
We have a singularity, because we are all the same. At the end of the day, anyone who's alleging they're being taken to a court, until it's been established a court by the proof of the layer of information is there, with it containing a statement of truth that's been signed under the penalty of perjury by a living man or woman, it isn't a court. It is not a court. They're just simply administrative.
And we have the right as people to have proper courts with a proper jury and a proper judge that is able to interpret the law, which is land, air, water. Yes, of us, mankind, and is able to administrate that law in a clear, concise, transparent way, where his mind is not affected by drugs, alcohol, perversion, deception, mental illness, and that he's got integrity and honor, or she has got integrity and honor, which is the 7 Nolan principles. That is what we deserve as living men and women, to protect our children and protect ourselves.
And they adhere to their burden of proof and provide the evidence that substantiates their claim.
It's this simple. It's you're guilty when someone decides it in the split second, and they don't need to provide any evidence in order to accuse you of being guilty. And they'll keep shaking you down until they affect your mental health. But you see the push on mental health in the system of like people thinking, oh yeah, I've got mental health problems, but look how quickly that can be spun against you. So I just want people to be very mindful that yes, there are people that have general need to have help, and that's great, but just be very, very mindful at throwing yourself at the feet of systems that can very quickly. I think the biggest thing is, how can this be used against me, and can this be twisted and projected back at me in years down the line if I'm disobedient in their world. And this is why I think it's just so important to maybe work with a more of a community base, that you're working with like your local psychologist that's maybe not part of a system that just has a very, very good connection with human beings and a very good like they've done their training or whatever, but it's just a bit more independent. Like there's something in independence and connecting with people. That's where we're safest
I class
right now.
I class it down to this. You stick with the facts. You can't be mental. There's no confusion.
You can be manic.
It's not
According to PC, whatever his name is.
not what you know that hurts you. It's what you don't know. So
Yeah.
the mere factor, if the people were told the truth, they wouldn't be stressed. They wouldn't be in this mental state of confusion because they've never been given the facts, and that's by design.
And I do just want to say, I do want to say before I go is again, thank you to everybody, and you know, we're all in this together, and this is the year, Andrew. This is it. That the planets are aligned. There's nowhere for this to go. There's one way, and it's the truth. And I'm so honoured to be part of people's lives that stand in the truth, and we shouldn't have to fight for the truth. And you know, we're all going to come together, and I do have every hope in my heart. I just know for my own well-being at the moment and my own safety that I just need to go to a very, very silent place and finish my book off. People have ordered my book. I need to finish my book, and the truth will be in there that can't be suppressed and can't be hidden. So I just want to get that finished and get that out, because I refuse to engage in a system that has proven itself time and time again to cause me injury, loss and harm, and is corrupt to the core.
I mean, just to go back and just to finish it off then. So mankind, yeah, the difference between mankind and human. The main point here is this: these people in these public offices, yeah, these people that are meant to be serving us, yeah, these people that are doing wrong, yeah, you cannot forgive somebody until they admit it.
Yeah.
And they know, we know that they know because of what they're doing. We know by their design, by their explaining the fact, by adding extra lies and lies and lies on top of it to cover up the lie. They know that we know that they know that they're lying. So if they want forgiveness, yeah, if they expect us to be compassionate for them, yeah, they've got to own up. They've got to admit what they're doing. And they know, and we know they know that we know they know. So there's no two ways out of it, mate.
It's checkmated. It's just checkmate.
Yeah. So guys, all you judges, all you police, own up.
And there are good ones. Like yesterday, there's some young ones, you know, and I could see they've got kindness in the heart. And I said, please don't allow this to take that away from you, because if you can get in a position of power within that, with that heart-centeredness, with that connection with you know, living men and women, and the comprehension of what you're doing, then that's how it changes. So I've seen the good as well. It's you know, like anything, there's good and bad and everything, isn't there? But thank you, Andrew, for just sharing this story with me. And yeah, thank you to everybody, and let's just keep going. And anyone that comes at us with negativity, the best way to deal with that is just to don't feed it, don't feed the beast. Yeah.
That's what I'd say. Don't get involved now. But no, thank you for your explanations. And I mean, there's a lot of other things that people are going to say, but at the end of the day, when someone's stressed, you can't justify anything. Like there must be a mental. There must have been something mental, meaning not mental as in lost mind, just mental as in serious depression. You know, and like you said, you know, there was arguments. There's none more than your mother. You know, that could put you in those states. So, you know,
she's got my daughter, and I'm not seeing my daughter. It's like, where's anyone respecting and listening to my children and me? Where is it? Yeah. Where is it? Besides you beautiful people, but do you know what I mean? It's like just in my own, you know.
The other question was about not contacting your daughter because they said that you'd spoke to your daughter on the Sunday night. I
did, yeah.
And then it said that, you know, why didn't you contact your daughter again? And they were saying all this.
The next day, because it's traumatic. Because I don't want my daughter to see me distressed. And obviously FaceTime, yes, it's beautiful, yes, all those things, but it's very controlled on the other side. And I just see that I don't want my daughter. My job is to hold a safe, sacred space with her, and everything's energy, Andrew. So I can do more positive work with just sitting in nature and praying over her and using visualization and manifestation to hold that around her, then being engaged and listening to people trying to trigger in the background, so it invokes some sort of emotional response. And that's just my judgment as a mother. Not every mother would want to do that, not every father would want to do that, but I'm in a place of, it's my DNA, and if my DNA is calm and at peace, then her DNA is calm and at peace, because it's energetic. That's just my belief system.
No, that's fact.
Not everyone has to agree with that, and that's absolutely fine. And people can say, yeah, but what? Listen, you're entitled to your opinion. This is my truth, and it's my stance, and I have every human right to stand in my truth.
Can I just say something that will confirm what you've just said is the truth? Right then, Royal Raymond Rife, was a beautiful guy, and he was one of the main reasons why I understood what I understand today. He was, and he understood about frequencies, and that's why he cured cancer. And the machines that he did, he cured on all sorts of things. And I've got one of the spooky machines. And the DNA, just by using it through the DNA, by putting it in there and vibrating, sending the frequencies through the DNA. My wife, my lady, she had toothache, and I did it on her, and it went numb. And at the same time, my son's face went numb. So that was pure and simple, because it was the DNA, because my mum and my son's DNA are the same. And therefore, just to say what you're saying, by keeping calm yourself with your DNA, because your DNA is your daughter's DNA, and therefore what you've just said, I can therefore stipulate why what you're saying.
It's what the Tibetans do. It's what the monks do. It's what the Buddhists do. It's the power of stillness and prayer. That in that space, I call it feeding the beast. I'm not feeding the beast. That sometimes the only thing to do is to go in nature and reconnect, and it takes an awful amount of strength, and it's painful at times, but to me it feels the right way, because when I disengage with the fight, when I disengage with the nonsense, it can't go anywhere. It's returned to rightful owner, which is, we know who's created this, so it's for them to deal with.
That's what I do with trolls. You see, I mean, I've gone through all that. All this is all training to who I am now. I mean, as Buddha said, if I buy a present now and I offer you the present and you don't accept it, whose present is it? And it goes the same with insults. If I give you an insult and you don't accept it, whose insult is it? It's mine. And
really, it's just a reflection of themselves. That's the thing. It's like we're all one. So it's like they're working through the dark night of the soul. They're stuck. And because I have comprehension of that, it's not my duty or my place to then go on the attack, because I'd be going against myself and I'd be going against them. I'd actually be downgrading myself on my journey, my spiritual journey. So all I can do is hold sacred space and return it and forgive it.
Absolutely.
So I hope that makes sense to people. But and yes, people like, what about your daughter? And she needs to see you. I get all those things. But listen, what I'm teaching my children is that the truth and freedom and love and compassion are everything in this life. Absolutely. And it's not about bowing down or consenting. Like my mum was literally screaming at me, like hurling the most, calling me a whore, like all sorts of insults, craziness. And anyway, I just let her get it off her chest, whatever she's doing. Because what she's angry about, she's angry that she's just had to hand over my daughter to a man that isn't her daughter. But my mum's angry at herself, projected upon me, because it's a safe place to do it, because I don't react, so she can let it out. Her trauma has an outlet. So she's having verbal diarrhea, which is abuse, but it's held. And it's like a bottleneck. It's like pop the cork, because what she really wants to do is say that to Gerard, but she doesn't dare say it because she feels it will destroy the relationship. But in reality, that's where it should have gone. That energy should have gone on him, but she can't do it because she bows down. What's the
saying? Kind hearts easiest abused.
Yeah. So my mum knows the system's wrong. She taught me about most of
obviously your mum must be some, she must have something about
she knows about Sympathizing. She knows about it all. The difference is they harassed her within an inch of her life and she bowed down, she signed on the dotted line. That's the difference. And I've not. And no judgment, but that's the truth. But she wants me to do it.
It's just like the same with it. Well,
It's fear.
we won't talk about the vaccines because otherwise it won't. Yeah,
No.
destroy this. But similar, the same thing, and I'm sure everyone can understand.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyway, thank you.
you.
I'll be in touch, and just if I go quiet, everyone, I'm fine. And
Going quiet when you're telling people you're going quiet is not an issue.
I'm learning.
No, they now know. But to go quiet
So,
without them,
I'm just going quiet, and the people that know straight away are you and Sarah and someone else. So if anything is wrong, you'll be alerted pretty much immediately, because I've got it set up that way. So thank you for being part of that, and yeah, love to you all, like every single one of you, and we're all in this together, and stay strong. You know, keep out the battle courts, keep out.
Yes.
Keep out.
They can prove the claim. What court?
Yeah.
God bless you. Okay, Sian, take care, darling.
Bye. God bless all. Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.